All right, guys, what's going on? Levi Trumbull reporting here, and today could quite possibly be the start of what is the grandest story ever broken in Frederick County's history. It is a juicy one, and while we're not going to unpack 20 years of history here and now, we are going to hit the pause button and sort of take you forward. We might have to take you backwards at some point. And if things don't go the way that I hope they go inside this building here and now, that's exactly what we're going to do. So let me tell you why it is we are here standing outside of the Frederick County Department of Planning and Permitting. Well, the reason we're doing that, and again, the address for this governmental building is 30 North Market Street. The reason we're here today is we are here to file this massive 46-page grievance as it relates to 3 county employees. That's what we're going to do. And I'm not going to bring you, I am actually not going to disclose, I should say, the identities of the individuals named in this massive grievance that I've typed up and I'm getting ready to file at this facility. I'm not going to do that yet because I'm going to give them one more chance to course correct the unacceptable behavior that has come from this building right here. Now, like I said, if this department right here chooses not to course correct some of the egregious behavior that they've demonstrated as it relates to nonfeasance and not following of their mandated duties, if they continue on that path, then we are going to break what is going to be, in my opinion, one of the grandest stories in Frederick County's history. It will be FrederickGate. Now, as I said, we're not going to bring you everything in this document here and now. There's going to be a time for that, and there's going to be a place for that. But right now, we're going to give the county, Frederick County, I should say, one final chance to course correct through the filing of this grievance against a couple county employees. We're going to give Frederick County one more chance to get it right. If they don't want to get it right, then we bring you guys the story. We unpack everything. And this today only will be the start of what will unfold to be a long-winded and dramatic saga as it relates to what I believe is the most serious nonfeasance situation of any county government in the United States. So with that, we're going to head inside this building. We're going to file this grievance. We are going to document that interaction, and we'll be right back. Let's see here. Get this fucking. Here. All right, let's do this. Hey, good afternoon. I'm actually here to see Deborah Carpenter. She's the head of the planning and permitting, like the division director. My name is Levi Trumbull. I called in and I spoke with Lori Barlett. I believe it was a few days ago, and she advised that she would be around today at 2:30. So if she's around, I'd like to speak with her real quick. Yeah, you hand her something as well. So this is for her.
If you just want to check into the guard, he'll call up to them.
Okay. I don't need to go see anybody. She can just
she'll just have
come here and I'll talk to her. Yeah. Hi, are you Deborah? Yes. Are you Deborah Carpenter? Nice to meet you. Okay, so the reason I'm starting here today is because I contacted Human Resources and spoke with the Director of Human Resources, and she advised to start with you. She said, she said, you don't have to do that, but just as a general recommendation, we advise people to start at the particular division where you want to file a grievance. Yes. So I said, okay, I have no problem. I'm all about taking things. There's like the organizational chart.
Through the process.
I'm all about that. That's how it should be. Because you never know, you can get something resolved in a lower stage rather than taking something higher. Well, in any event, I'm here today to file a grievance against 3 of your county employees. I did everything I could in my power.
And all that, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. This is a very voluminous situation, case. And I did everything in my power to not to have to stand here today and hand you this document. But unfortunately, well, not yet. Hold on one second.
Okay.
I got to say a few things to you.
All right.
So I did everything in my power not to file this today. But 20-year situation, people are like, you're wasting your time. You know, back on Daisy Court, half the neighbors have left. They know the county's not going to, or they believe that the county's not going to do anything about it. But I said, I got to give it a shot and see for myself. It's all talk until I prove it for myself. I filed the most, on April 18th, 2023, I filed the most voluminous complaint against a property for running a retail business on a residential property, which is in violation of the Frederick County zoning ordinances. Filed that on April 18, 2023. I was informed by Mr. Dessau and the government here that they would take care of that issue, they would look into it, and they would try to resolve that situation with me. That's what they told me. Well, they kicked the can down the road for a year, and they ultimately didn't do it. It's all laid out here in this complaint. So with that being said, I would like to give that to you, and I would like you to, you know, one of the things, if you open this real quick, there's actually a digital, I didn't want to bring you paperwork this high, right? So what I did was I filed the complaint here, and then there are some digital things that I want you to see right here. And one more thing I want to tell you is, I'm not telling you, me, Levi J. Trumbull, I'm not telling you that there is an unlawful retail business transpiring on Daisy Court in Monrovia, Maryland. I'm not telling you that. Your county attorney, Brian Black, acknowledges that. He filed a brief an amicus brief on behalf of the Frederick County government last year to the Supreme Court of Maryland. He did that, right? Judge Julia Martz Fisher of the Circuit Court of Frederick found that he's operated an unlawful business. The district court found the same. This issue's been litigated to death by every court from local to statewide. Your county attorney knows what's going on. But for some reason, here in this building with Mr. Dessau, Kathy Evans, you know, Joe Green, I know he's new. I like the guy personally. I personally have no problem with anyone, but this is business, and there's duty. You know, I mean, duty. You know what the word duty is, right? It's all well defined within the county zoning ordinances. There are serious rules being violated, and it's selective. You guys have no problem enforcing your zoning law. I've seen you guys do it at great length when it was Deborah Wessels. I've seen you guys do it at great length when it's Robert Glass. I've seen it. You guys can on a person if you want to. But with this guy, who is the most serious zoning violator in Frederick County's history, probably the state of Maryland, you won't touch him. And you're probably going to find out that 20 years ago, they signed a non-disclosure with the gentleman. I can't prove that. I don't know that. Brian won't tell me that. Nobody will talk about it. But you guys sure do go at it, and not you specifically. I want to be clear. But this department here at zoning have done everything that they possibly can to everything applies to everyone else, but not the situation over here. When you look at that disc and you look at the photos on that disc, when you look at the complaints, you've received dozens, not just me, dozens, probably hundreds, I have no idea, of complaints about this property for years. Nothing. Every excuse in the world. We can't do this, we can't do that. I finally, before I filed this complaint back in April, and I'm not going to keep going on, but before I filed what you have, I'm sorry, not what you have in your hand, the April 18th complaint, which was 18 pages long and 124 pages of exhibits. The reason it was so over the top was because right before I filed that complaint, I sent him a Maryland Public Information. I just said, give me the complaints from the past year. I was just curious to see if any, because I know people complain about the issue all the time. The property is in ungodly condition. You wouldn't imagine. Vultures, trash. If you saw the property for yourself, you would fall over. You wouldn't believe a property like that, in that kind of condition, actively exists in Frederick County. You wouldn't believe it if you saw it with your own eyes. You wouldn't believe it. There were 3 complaints filed in a 1-month period prior to when I filed that complaint, and they didn't investigate. They didn't do anything. They did not. They just, complaints come in and nothing. There was active retail business licensing on that property, and there still is today. How do you know if, I'm going to ask you, because you run this joint. You're the head honcho here. You're big boss. How do you know if a place is a business or not? Like, how do we know that Shuck and Shack down the street, how would we know that that's a business? What gives it away?
Usually a license.
Usually a license, right? Trader's license, business license, tax license. Well, all those things exist on this residential property. But don't tell, they know it. I mean, they know it, but they don't enforce it. And confirm with me, this county, Frederick County, the government, Frederick County, a municipality, they can they can go on a property if they want to, after they receive a zoning complaint, to do a zoning inspection, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
You can get on a property, can't you?
Well, under certain conditions.
What are the conditions? I'm just generally curious.
We usually let them know, and we should be able to see the violation from the road.
You should be able to see. Yeah, but okay. Well, you that would actually apply.
Unlawful entry.
You can't do it in an unlawful entry, right? But you can get it if you were denied access and you knew a violation was on a property. What would you guys do? Presumably, an administrative search warrant, an application to the district or the circuit court. Were they all familiar with this issue? It's a question for Brian. I mean, but you could do that. Yeah. I mean, if you knew that there was a zoning violation, and like you knew that, and the violator himself has vocally sworn that in multiple different pleadings in this very jurisdiction. I mean, listen, I won't bore you to death with all the details. I'm not even going to get into it any further with you. But I just encourage you. I'm sorry it's so voluminous, that situation right there, but it starts from the time in 2022 or 20, whatever year it was. This has been going on a long time because I wanted to give the county a benefit of the doubt. I would have never filed something like that, a complaint like that against, these are what? Our county employees. I live in this county. I got no beef with the county. I would have never filed something like this if I wouldn't have exhausted every measurement to try to not do this first. But, and I'm going to take it, it's the hill I'll die on, because I used to live near that property. My family is affected by the nonfeasance and the negligence to perform the mandated duty onto that property. It's a nightmare situation. When you look at those photos, you won't believe a property like that exists in Frederick County. You won't believe it. You won't believe it. So look into it, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Ms. Carpenter. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you as well.
Take care. Have a good day.
Look forward to hearing from you.
All right.
All right, guys, and there you have it. TikTok. We have filed the grievance, and let's see what they do. If we get an unsatisfactory response, we move forward. We bring you the story. We bring the story to the county council. We bring the story to the ombudsman. We seek judicial review. We do everything that we can think of to course correct this unbelievable situation. So with that, Levi Trumbull reporting in Frederick, Maryland.